We're live! Hello!
We got there.
Hello everyone, here we are. My name is Sonia Troiani. I'm the creator of Mama the Film, a documentary about motherhood, which also wants to be a platform for women to come and share the stories and find the voice and also help each other. So with that purpose, we have come together, the three of us, wearing a beautiful t-shirt. I've got here Ashley and Marnie. Hello.
Hi.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah. I'm Ash. This is Marnie. We are Eskimo Now, and we created Eskimo Now. Well, actually, we revived Eskimo Now about 6 months ago. Same reason as Sonia, as a platform to bring women together, to connect women, to start a bit of a movement, because for Marnie and I, motherhood was quite a lonely place in the beginning, and we really connected over that, and that was something that we both felt so passionate about. So Eskimo Now, that became a place for us to share that with other people, I guess, so that other people didn't ever have to feel, or mothers especially, ever had to feel like they were alone in this, you know, because it's a really hard place to be.
Yeah, it can be very lonely. In my experience, it was a very, very lonely place, and so I'm glad that I managed to find other women to share my experience with. And it wasn't always very easy to do that, because I don't think we have very honest conversations about what it is really like.
No.
I had a conversation again with another woman today, and she was like, yeah, I can't really talk about these things with anybody. And that's why I think it's important that we do that, with your brand, with my project. It's important that we say, okay, let's empower each other just by being honest, by opening up a conversation that is authentic. What is this really about? What is motherhood really like?
And take the guilt out of it, because that's what I struggle with. I felt guilty that I felt that way about being a mum, when obviously that's what you want, that's what you've waited for, it's what other people want. And and to not even be able to say it to somebody and then go, oh my God, I get it.
Because as soon as you do have an authentic conversation with someone, this comes out, and then you connect, and it's this longing, like, oh my God, where have you been? I've needed you.
But exactly. I almost felt like it always took me to be the one that was like, I'm really struggling, and other people would then eventually, break down the barriers and start talking about it. But if I didn't talk about it, no one else did, and I felt so isolated by it. I had a daughter when I was really, really young, and I actually felt more isolated as an older mother than a younger mother, which is quite interesting.
Do you think it's because you were more aware of it? Or?
I think so, and I think maybe I expected as a young mum to be isolated, whereas as an older mum I was like, look, I'm not going to have these problems because I'm an older mum and I've got mum friends and I've got things that people can relate to, but I actually found it harder.
I wonder if that is one of the reasons for why we're here today to talk about competitiveness, and the reason that people don't open up is because there is a sense of competitiveness that, my experience, how will it match up to your experience, and do I want to seem like I'm the one with my shit together? And as soon as I start giving away how I feel and if I'm struggling, then that's gone, and what does that mean?
There's a lot of judgment. We don't share these things because of the guilt and shame attached to that, and then when we do, there's a lot of judgment, so we are not really incentivized to do it again. So that's why it's important to connect with people that are like-minded and belong to your tribe, and they understand these issues, and they're okay to talk about it, because by supporting each other we resolve the challenge, not by hiding or not by...
And I think as well, like, the more honest and open I've been, the less I judge other mums, and that's been amazing for me. So then you judge yourself less.
Exactly. And the less you judge yourself, the less you judge others.
And it's just been such a amazing process to go through.
Liberating.
It's so liberating. I've enjoyed being a third-time mum more than I have any of my parenting decisions, because I am finally in this place where I feel very comfortable to share this and to reach out to people who I feel are struggling, or give them that space to...
And it doesn't have to be a dark thing. Struggling with parenthood doesn't have to be something dark. It can be, there can be some fun in it, like, oh my God, today you wouldn't believe what would
Yeah.
happen, and it doesn't have to be really heavy and
Yeah.
and take you to a kind of a sad place. It can just be, especially when you have that honesty, you can banter off each other like, oh my
Yeah.
god, today you wouldn't believe what I wanted to flush my kid down the toilet.
Yeah.
And you mean that, but
Yeah. But it doesn't mean that you're going to do it.
No.
Yeah.
You know, it means that you can
Maybe
connect with
less
that
people
feeling.
have done it. And
Yeah.
maybe these people would if they could talk about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. But some women do. You know, and that's
yes.
the thing that I think it's important also to be aware of, that sometimes when you get into the dark space, if you don't get the support that you need, you can really end up doing something silly and crazy and really dangerous.
Definitely.
And a lot of child abuse, I believe, could be prevented with information and support and presence and a non-judgmental space, like the one that I want to create and the one that you guys are creating as
because
well.
even creating a non-judgmental space around being able to, if you're in that time of everything is overwhelming, being able to put your kid down and leave, that be an okay thing to do. Whereas now we don't see it like, you're a mum, you can't leave your kid for 5 minutes. Well, actually, that's actually the best thing you can do sometimes.
Absolutely, and because we don't have that village that we often talk about, and we have our children on our own, and we've got this experience of insular families, we don't really have anybody to live them with unless you pay someone, but you can't always do it. So that's also something tricky that we are experiencing, mothers of our age. But let's talk a little bit about competitiveness, because we have all experienced that. Hello.
Welcome.
Yes, and who's the other one? We can't really see all the names of the people coming in. Jenny, hello Jenny. Mums from school, hello, you guys rock. Thank you for joining us. All the mums that share our daily lives. Cheers to you and to us and to all the mums who are doing a great job. The competitiveness, it's quite an interesting subject, isn't it? Well, do you want to share your experience about it?
Yeah, so whenever I experience competitiveness, you know, I actually experience it daily, you know. Probably felt it the most as a young mum, because a lot of the other mothers who I was mothering alongside felt quite intimidated by the fact that I was young and, you know, they were a bit older. And I'm trying to think back, you know, to the most recent kind of situation. But I know I do experience it quite regularly, and maybe
In small ways.
in small ways. I think I've removed myself from a lot of it now, so I don't see it as much. But there's definitely still things, and I honestly believe some of it's subconscious. You know, people don't mean to do it. And
some people, they just find, you know, their life around the children is everything they have. So they're very focused on, you know, the milestones. I remember experiencing a lot of that, especially during babyhood.
Babyhood.
So when did your child have the first tooth? That means that he's either a genius or not. And you, if you had the first tooth a little bit later, you're behind. And there was a lot of talking about that, about, you know, is your child crawling? Is your child talking? How many words is he saying? And that creates, you know, something really uncomfortable for those whose child have a tooth a little bit later.
You don't want to share it, right? You don't want to
but
share
also
your
you don't want to
ones.
have these conversations all the time. Absolutely. Let's talk about politics.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Something
whatever.
else.
Something else rather than the teeth of our child, because they all develop differently, as we know.
But even the birth, like I find labour
And the
stories,
birth,
people love to share their labour stories, and I do as well. But it, you know, and I was very lucky. I had very easy labours, but I do know that there are a lot of people who don't like to share their birth stories with me because they feel like, oh, well, they had a really hard time. They don't.
And you had a good one.
So they don't want to talk about the epidurals and this, that, and the other thing. You know, I actually just like to hear about them. But I do think that the birth thing is a big one.
Yeah, and I remember a friend of mine who had an epidural with a second pregnancy, and everybody was just not advising her to have one. And there was this culture that you do it naturally, you do it in the water, and there's no drugs involved, and you do this amazing goddess thing of giving birth in the most beautiful way. And sometimes things don't go that way. And I remember this friend of mine telling me, actually my second birth, with all the drugs and with all the stuff that was available, was the best one, because I didn't suffer, I didn't feel any pain, and I just enjoyed this child coming out of me. And that was beautiful. So whatever your choice is, whatever your decision is, it's okay, it's yours, it's only yours, and it can't be judged. But there's a lot of, I have many memories of talking about this birth and who had done the best thing, you know, who had performed the best delivery, and I'm like, actually, it's not really about performing anything.
You hear it in mum groups as well. Like I've been at play groups where someone will say, "Oh, and they were only in labour for such and such amount of time, and they had epidural."
Yeah.
It's like, so what? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter, you know.
It doesn't matter.
It might not be your decision, like it might not be your choice, but you don't know until you're faced with it.
Yeah.
I'm very nearly got induced, and I said to my husband, "If I get induced, I'm getting epidural straight away. Like, why would I put myself through that? You know?
Yeah.
Because just to prove to somebody else that I don't have to do
I remember my mum telling me the whole time, you're not going to win a medal for any of this.
Yeah, exactly. It's important to remember that,
And it's not like your kids care, right?
No, exactly. They will never know, probably, unless you tell them. But
and
also,
your husband doesn't care either, generally, because they don't feel that they can have a say in it, because they don't have to experience it. So, you know...
But the competition is amongst us.
Of course.
It's all in our head, and we really don't need to do that.
That's a judgment from within, you know, I think as well. Like I'm saying, the less I judge other people, the less I judge myself, you know, the more open I am to other people, because that judgment's gone. Yeah.
I think as well it becomes, the judgment makes you assume you know more about the person than just what they are saying, and then you base your competitiveness off that, right? So if they say they're in, you know, had an epidural, you create a story around that because you're judging them. You're too, or you know, if they have a cesarean, too posh to push, you're just assuming things about them.
And stereotyping.
And stereotyping that you could have absolutely no idea whatsoever
what that story is.
That story is.
And I've lost my train of thought now, but quite often you do it to make yourself feel better as well, you know. Like, I was in labour for 36 hours and I didn't have an epidural, so therefore I'm a better mother.
I'm a good mother,
Or it gives you, I don't know, I used to do it a little bit as well, especially with my first daughter, because, you know, I felt so proud that I can birth without drugs, and I wore it around like a badge of honour, you know, that was the one thing I had achieved and done really, really well, and I held on to it. And so I really put myself on a pedestal. And then, you know, whatever, 2 kids after that.
You realise that.
However it comes out, if it comes out, whatever, you know.
And breastfeeding or formula, you know, you hide your first bottle. Oh no, I've never given my child a bottle. you can't say that.
I'm doing that with TV at the moment. And this came from my mum as well. It was like, you know, don't put your kids in front of TV. And you know what? Yesterday and today, I put Rivet in front of TV in the morning, and I did stretches, and it was amazing.
Like, do it.
And he survived. He's alive. He's exactly the same. And it was just this, I don't know, pressure I put on myself, or how, you know, like almost a competition with nobody, because it's a competition with everybody, right? You know, to be the best mum. Like, you know, I didn't give him a dummy. I didn't do this. It's like, I'm going to tell all my friends who have babies now, get the swaddle, get the dummy, get the white noise.
Make it easy for you.
Whatever you need to do, do it. Because who are you proving anything to? You're the one up all night. You're the one who can't shower because you won't check your kid in front of the TV. And you just don't enjoy parenting as much. You know, when you are that strung out and trying to live by these ridiculous rules that you've created for yourself, you just don't enjoy it. Well, I know I didn't. I didn't enjoy being a parent as much as when with my third baby. I've just kind of let it all go.
You're more relaxed.
And I just enjoyed her, and
she's amazing.
But I've just enjoyed being a mum so much. You know? I remember with Miller, 11 months dragged on. I could not wait till his first birthday. With Arden, I'm like, how is she nearly a year old? You know, I just loved her up so much. But I do think it's because I've just let go of all of that, you know? And I just enjoyed her for what she is, rather than trying to fit under this umbrella of what I thought it meant to be a really good mother, you know?
Yeah, and it's a shame when that doesn't happen. You know, you would like every experience of motherhood to be like that, but often it's not. And I think it's important and it's cathartic when we have these conversations, because you realize, okay, it's not like that now, but everything is temporary. What happens when I get some help? What happens when I put my child in front of television so that I can have half an hour to myself? What happens when I stop breastfeeding and give him formula instead because I'm struggling so much with my...
Because you can talk about it after more lightheartedly, but when you're in
it's big.
It's big.
It's big, and
It's
it just and it just shapes everything, and it just affects your relationship with your partner. It affects your relationship with your children, your relationship with yourself,
and with
the
your friends as
world,
well.
and absolutely. So that's definitely something that we don't want to happen a lot, and that's what Mum is about. You know, come on board, join us, and just be part of this movement in which we are supporting each other in any possible way. So whatever your struggle is, do get in touch. Come on board of this project. Come and be part of the Facebook Live in which you share your experience. I want every woman to share the stories, to understand that it's normal. Certain things are normal. Is there a question? Do you think this is more of a middle class issue? When food and other necessities are taken care of? Yeah, that's absolutely a very important point that you're making, Fran. There, thank you for saying that. Is this a middle class issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does. I do think so. I think as well when you've got, don't have, the usual biggest stresses. You sit in your four walls and you do stress about other things, other kind of less meaningful things. I did find that with my son. Like, I didn't have anything else. I didn't have a big group of friends. I didn't have anything to keep my mind occupied. I sat in my four little walls all day and stewed and found problems and found issues because I had nothing else to focus on. So I do think it's a middle class problem.
Yes, and I'm also thinking that when you have big issues around your financial situation, it's also very difficult to enjoy your experience of motherhood because you've got big problems to sort out first, and there is actually quite a lot of child abuse records in this country, but everywhere in the world when that coincides with the situation of poverty as well.
If you're working 2 jobs and the time you do come home, you are spent doing the hardest part of parenting, the witching hour, the feeding, bathing, getting to sleep through the night, and that is your experience of your child, then how on earth are you going to be a centered, calm person when that's they're tired, they're hungry, they miss you,
I mean, it's hard enough being a parent without those issues, right? And then you add in that.
And you don't have money for a babysitter, you don't have time, there's no time to go out and do anything for yourself, like filling your, I think you talked about it, filling your own cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
That's out of the question.
Absolutely. That's why there can't be any room for competitiveness.
Yeah, because it's good enough.
Because we might struggle from the middle class, from the lower class, from the upper class. I don't want to make it too much of a class issue. I think that there are women struggling across the board, and when they do, I think it's really important that they feel acknowledged, they feel accepted, and they feel recognized in their struggle, and they get the help that they need. For me, it's really about creating support in whatever way you can, through a friendship, through a network around you, through our projects, or through getting together and having conversations about it. But creating the support, I think, is the most important thing, because motherhood can be an extremely alienating experience, as we were saying at the beginning. And if you're struggling, you don't share it. That's the thing that I want to talk about and change. We need a shift there, because we don't receive any status from society. We are just moms. Some of us juggle. I've got so many friends who are single moms as well, and they really juggle even more than I do. Some, at least, we have partners, but we have businesses as well that we're trying to run, and we've got projects that we want to give birth to, and there are other things that we want to do as well. So it's just really difficult to be acknowledged as this, multitasking.
Because I think it is where competitiveness comes in. Can you just be a mum? Or are you a stay-at-home mum, but you've got a business on the side.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're not doing that, well then what the fuck are you doing with your time? If you're just being
Why
a
isn't
mum?
your house looking immaculate if you're just staying at home all day?
And I haven't experienced this before becoming a mum. When I did a profession, I went to my school reunion and I could say that I was something. I was a journalist, just had that word.
Title,
Yeah.
And now my title is mum, and it's so, you know, even riding in the airport, what, you know, occupation, mum.
Yeah.
And then you know, do you kind of want to do a sidebar? Oh, but I'm starting my own business at home. It's like, you know, the people at the
people are going to take you more seriously because
Yeah.
you've got a title. Yeah.
Yeah, Julie.
Actually, that is kind of unfair for me to say it's a class thing because I've never experienced either side of the coin, you know.
Oh, Julie says, I teach antenatal classes, and what Sonia's talking about is what I see every time. So this does happen. It didn't happen just to us, it happened to many of you.
Yeah.
So please come and share your experiences, because that's exactly what we're here for.
Yeah.
Hi Danielle, hi Amanda. Hi ladies. Well, I think competitiveness for me almost seems competitiveness the other way, how bad your experience was. Like, I actually made a comment early on, I don't think I could be friends with someone whose child slept. And it was like, because, you know, or if I did, you know, because they were in a competitiveness of how great their child was at sleeping, and I wanted to be in a competitive conversation about how shit my child was at sleeping. And it was the other way. It was like a victim mentality, like, oh, I haven't slept in this long. You know, I've had anxiety, I've developed anxiety, didn't go out of the house for 6 weeks. Like, can you beat that kind of thing?
I've got it worse.
I've got it worse. And then, God, then you're going down a rabbit hole, really.
Yeah.
And it makes people not want to share an experience if it's a positive one.
Yeah.
And then what, do you only have negative conversations with your mum friends?
Yeah. And you don't want to.
And how good is that for your morale about being a mum? And you know,
you don't want it to become this negative space where all you do is catch up and bitch about your husband and your kids and how awful motherhood is. I just elaborating on that, I had the same thing. So when Miller he was a horrific sleeper, and I had friends at the time who had really good sleepers, and then the tables turned, and when they had kids that had bad sleepers, they'd, you know, turn to me and go, oh, and they don't do this, that, and that would take so much of my energy not to turn around and go, this is what I went through, and you didn't, you know, like, and so for me, that was me being competitive and being like, well, actually, you don't know, you're explaining to your kid, no as bad as what Miller was, you know. So I had to take a step back from that and be more, you know, take the sympathetic approach, be like, I know what you've been through, I've been there, and it's fucking
part of me thinks I would never wish this on anyone, but then I find myself wishing it on people,
so they know how bad you've had it,
what it is.
But so they turn around, it's this for me, I'd like, so they turn around and go, oh my God, you're amazing because you went through this, you know, like, what are you achieving from that? Nothing.
But bragging about your child doing these amazing things at the age of 8 months isn't that cool either.
No.
Exactly.
But then, how do you find that
middle ground
where you can still talk about your kids? Because like you said, you know, the reality is you want to talk about things other than your kids, but it's a fallback thing to talk about your kids. So if you're not bitching about them and you're not bragging about them, how do you have a conversation about your kids?
And that's why we're talking about honest conversations. We're talking about authenticity. That's exactly what we're trying to achieve here. How can we just come together and talk about what it actually is?
Just a creative space where you celebrate the highs together
and the lows as well. Absolutely.
And pick them up when and the lows.
Hi girls. Hi Kate and Claire.
Welcome.
Kate and I have mummed together from the very beginning, and I think not guilty, but we had kids who both didn't sleep, and it was a bonding thing for us, definitely. And I think it managed not to talk about bitching, but fall into bitching, but to the point where we could just look at each other and we didn't have to say anything, and we knew.
You knew.
And that was an amazing bonding experience.
Of course, I can imagine,
And I think that was a really authentic way that and now, even though our kids have improved with their sleeping, thank God, we can both now laugh about it. We've gone to full circle together, which has been honestly a lifesaver for me.
Yeah, you need to have those relationships for sure.
Okay, we're coming to the end of our time together. Sorry if I can't read all the questions, because we've got our phones there, but a little bit far away so that we could all fit in the frame. So we can't really see all the questions, but everybody who's been commenting and liking and joining this conversation and being part of it, they will.
We're going to give away one of our to one of you lovely ladies who have joined us. To say thank you.
So at the end there will be a draw of these amazing teas. I really like them. I'm so proudly wearing one today. So sometimes you just need to do that.
Yeah, pretty
sometimes
much.
you definitely
Just,
need to
yeah,
do it.
that's what you need sometimes.
Quite regularly, actually. Quite regularly, especially today.
So thank you for being part of this. I just wanted to remind you all that the crowdfunding for Mama, the documentary, is still on and until the 11th of March. So please come along and donate and click on the link and just become part of it. We just need a little bit more money to just go ahead with the shooting and the editing and all the time that we need and all the people that we need to hire to finish this film. So please help us do that, because I think it's really important that we put this into something that everybody can see and everybody can become aware of, and we can make this into a public conversation through this film.
Normalize it.
Normalize it, absolutely. And also shatter the stereotype of the perfect mother, because there's not such a thing.
Not me. Not me.
No such thing as a perfect child.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll see you sometime soon.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye-bye and cheers. Cheers to all the mums and all the dads and everybody and all the children.
All the children.
Let's not forget the children.
Who
Show us. Yeah. Bye-bye.